All right, so today you guys are going to be watching a video reviewing the second half of numbers in algebra. The other day, you guys did the first half, which kind of covered number sets, significant figures, the SI units, like that basic stuff, okay? But today is going to be kind of more the nitty-gritty of the second half of numbers in algebra, which covers arithmetic sequences and series, geometric sequences and series, currency conversions, compound, and simple interest. This video is just kind of like to refresh your memory about these different types of things. Of course, you can always go and watch the other videos and see exactly, more detail of them. This is kind of just like a summary. So to start off, you do not need to memorize the formulas of the arithmetic and the geometric sequences and series. They're all in your reference booklet, okay? It's just more of a matter of you being able to use them. Remember that when you're looking at the formulas in the reference book, a sub 1 or a sub n, remember that is the first term of the sequence, okay? A sub n is the nth term of the sequence. You have D, which represents the common difference when you're looking at arithmetic sequences or series, and R is of common ratio. Okay, that's when you're looking at geometric sequences or series. And then, of course, N is the number of terms. Okay, remember, you find the common difference by taking the second term and subtracting it from the first term. And you can find the common ratio by taking the second term and then dividing it by the first term, okay? And that's also how you show that something is arithmetic or something is geometric, by doing that process, okay? And not just with like the second term and the first term. If there's a third term and a fourth term, you want to show the entire process of taking every term that's in the sequence to show that something is arithmetic or geometric. You also need to know how to find R and D when two non-consecutive terms are given. Remember to find D. I gave you kind of like the shortcut where like you take whatever term is given to you. So let's say you're given like the fifth term and then the 17th term, right? So then you would take the 17th term and then you would subtract it from the fifth term, and then you would divide it by 17 over 5, like actually where they're placed in the sequence. And then from there, it will give you your common difference, okay? Remember, that's how you could find your common difference if you're giving two non-consecutive terms. For your ratio, you would kind of basically treat the fifth term as your first term, and kind of use the original geometric sequence formula to find the ratio. Of course, you can always go back and look at the video for geometric series sequences to refresh your memory on that. You also need to know how to plug it into your calculator for geometric sequences and series. Use your parentheses or just divide it into pieces, into parts, so that way you're not making any mistakes. And with the applications, whenever it's geometric, if it's talking about an increase, you always do 1 plus your rate. Decrease is your rate minus 1, okay, or 1 minus your rate. So don't forget about that. Currency conversions was also in this section. Remember, that's when if the bank is buying the money back from you when you return from going somewhere, then you're going to multiply the exchange rate. If the bank is selling you the money, for example, when you're going to travel off to this country, you're going to end up dividing the exchange rate. If you can never remember, or if you remember that, hey, I don't remember when to multiply or divide, then just set up a proportion, okay? It doesn't hurt, okay? Just set up the proportion and cross multiply. Commission always comes first. So if the bank is charging the person commission, you always apply that first before you ever exchange it. All right. And the last couple of things talked about simple interest and compound interest. Remember, simple interest is not in your reference booklet. It was I equals P times R times T, and it only gives you the interest, not the final amount. I represented your interest again. P was your principal, your initial amount. R was your rate as a decimal, okay? And T was your time. Compound interest, this formula was in your reference booklet and actually had the definitions of what everything was. The main thing here is R is entered as it is. So if R is given to you as 6%, you plug in 6 for R. And remember, with compound interest, there was also like the different compounding periods. So remember, K could be monthly, quarterly, annually, semi-annually. Could be any of those, okay? Remember that monthly stood for 12, quarterly stood for 4, annually stood for 1, semi-annually stood for 2. Those were some of like your main ones. There could have also been daily, which we never really saw, but that's 365, weekly, 52, biannually, 2, etc., etc. Okay? So that was just a quick review of pretty much the second half of numbers in algebra. If you need to go back and look deeper into, what those particular topics were, then check out the other videos on my YouTube page. But you guys are going to be working on a few more problems to refresh your memory. And then we'll review them in class the next time. All right?